What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we got to talk about the 30-10 loss that the New York Jets suffered to their AFC East rival, the Buffalo Bills. Top to bottom, it was not a good day to be a Jets fan, and the Bills just handed it to you. But there are a lot of takeaways and a lot of spots to where this Jets team can get a whole lot better, and we'll dive into that on today's show. But before we do so, if you guys could, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. We're closing in here on 10,000 subscribers. We just need 536 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button today. So if you guys are new here, love the New York Jets, wants Jets content in your life every single day, hit that subscribe button. Once you guys are subscribed, just give me a Go Jets down below. Now, the number one takeaway, no shocker here, we got to talk about the quarterback and the offensive play caller. Now, these two are tied at the hip. And I think when we see an offense struggle, especially at the quarterback position, it's obviously on the quarterback, but it's also on the offensive coordinator. And I have made this comparison for Justin Fields a whole lot here on the channel, where he feels like a streaky shooter in basketball. Where Fields, if he sees his first couple of completions go through, he can get hot and it can carry on throughout the entire game. But also on the opposite side, if he starts off struggling, if he's missing easy throws, like that one to Garrett Wilson on the first drive of the game, wide open over the middle field, he just missed them. Then he can really start derailing and he could have a performance like he did yesterday, where he just wasn't good enough. I mean, these are his legit stats. These aren't fake. These aren't wrong. He was 3 of 11 for 27 yards. Now, I thought clearly Tanner Engstrand did not trust Justin Fields in this game enough to throw the ball, which, I'm sure was a combination of what I just said, the trust there, but also him just wanting to establish that run. But it almost felt like once the Bills got up 10-0 early, live and die with Justin Fields. Like, even on that one drive, I think the game was 10-0. Jets moving the ball down the field. They picked up a couple of early first downs, and then you go to that ridiculous trick play to Arian Smith, and then it's 2nd and 20. So even when Fields started to feel a rhythm on a drive, he was just behind the 8 ball. Like, so many times. They actually showed it once on the TV broadcast. The Jets were like 0 or 5 on 3rd down at a point, but their average down the distance was like 13.5 yards. That just can't happen. So, when we talk about the quarterback position, especially if you're outside of the big four, like the Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, if you're outside of those guys, it's on both. It's on the quarterback and the play caller, and both of those guys struggled today. The Bills were doing everything they can to take away the run, and I promise you there were some deep shots at least available for one Justin Fields and Tanner Engstrand. So I thought the number one takeaway was those guys completely struggled, which is very concerning considering last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they looked like one of the best offenses in the National Football League. But you got a chance to bounce back against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this upcoming Sunday. But also number two here, the offensive line, it definitely regressed in this game. And, they regressed from being one of the top units in the league. Like, I'm not saying now I got major concerns for this offensive line, but they definitely took a step back. And even Armand Membu, like going up against TJ Watt, a true power rusher. He got the best of him last week, but we saw Bosa this past week. He struggled. Bosa more of a finesse guy, and maybe that's where we'll see Armand Membu struggle against different archetypes of edge rushers, where he'll do very good against the true, bull rushers where they're trying to just run straight through your face, but then against some more of the, savvy, the more finesse rushers, maybe he'll get beat a couple of times, but overall the offensive line wasn't good enough because you still got two good running backs in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, and it starts up front with these guys. Like, they couldn't consistently get enough push, and it is concerning considering the Bills also didn't have Ed Oliver, their star defensive tackle in this matchup, but this isn't good enough for Breece Hall. 10 carries, 29 yards. It's not on him fully, but, I thought he could have ran the ball a lot better, but the offensive line up front, they struggled. And then even when they did, do good in pass protection, they were able to set up, give Fields a clean pocket. He kind of got a little gun shy back there. He felt like the pressure was coming in a lot faster than it actually was. So just like top to bottom today, you struggled early. You couldn't get any sort of rhythm, any sort of mojo going. That's why you realistically only dropped 3 points. The late touchdown came in late, but this was a typical ass beating by the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there was backups in this game for Buffalo in the fourth quarter. And it starts with you kind of shooting yourselves in the foot. That Michael Clemens penalty was brutal. And then also you couldn't get anything going offensively. And we talked about it. You can limit Josh Allen enough, but if you can't run the football and give him a ton of extra possessions, you shoot yourself in the foot, you're going to get 30 hung on you, and it probably would have been more if the Bills or if the Jets were even in this game offensively. But I'll ask you guys this. Are you concerned about the Jets? Y for yes, N for no. I'm going to still say no. One really good week, one really bad week. Now let's find that median. Let's hopefully we can bounce back against the Buccaneers. And, hey, you go handle business in Miami. You beat Tampa. You beat the Dolphins. You're 2-2. And you got a chance to do something here. So I'm not fully concerned just yet. Definitely a little more concerned than I was following the Week 1 game against the Steelers. But you guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Now dive into more takeaways here in a second. But quickly, if you guys want to get some more New York Jets merch in your life, hit this link, chatsports.com/Jets hoodies. I'll have that for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But if you guys want to get some more New York Jets merch, just hit that link, chatsports.com/Jets hoodies. You can get the sweet cutoff hoodie look on sale right now. Just hit that link, chatsports.com/Jets hoodies. Now, I think this was shown during the Week 1 game, but especially during the Week 2 game. The Jets just got no depth defensively, and it's just tough for these guys to give consistent effort, and especially in the back end. Like Brandon Stevens, Tony Adams, just straight up not good enough. But even across the defensive line, like besides, Phillips, Quinnen, McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, even like a Briggs working in there, you don't really trust any of these guys. And, Aaron Glenn, you talk about if you're going to lose his football games, you're not going to be on the team. I could see Michael Clemens getting cut any hour now because that 3rd and 19 penalty he had was catastrophic. You have the Bills backed up, first drive of the game. You're about to get off the football field or at least just force a 50-plus yard field goal attempt from Matt Prater. And what does Clemens do? He tackles Josh Allen up high. Clear face-to-face, just a bonehead play. And that just can't happen. That can happen against the Saints. That can happen against the Dolphins, and you can still win a game. But if that happens against Buffalo, against a Super Bowl favorite, you're going to get blown out. And that's what happened. Even a guy like Brandon Stevens, I like the aggressiveness from him in this game. He clearly heard the noise. He wanted to go make a name for himself, but he just got beat too much. And, that's the problem. Like, you have a great corner in Sauce Gardner, but if you don't have that guy across from him, it's going to get ugly. And on 3rd and long situations, like, they were going at that guy. Even a guy like Michael Carter didn't really play his best game. And I just think, especially on the back end, you just don't have a lot of depth. And just the, defensively as a whole, you got some blue chippers. You got 2 good linebackers. You got some good defensive linemen. But it's just not enough right now. And we'll see how Glenn and Steve Wilkes bounce back because right now you're giving up 32 points a game. You're going to lose a lot of football games if that continues. So you got a good offense this upcoming week against the Buccaneers. Hopefully they can bounce back. We'll see the adjustments they make. But just not good enough defensively. And, 2 of the young guys offensively, where the hell is Braylon Allen and Mason Taylor? Like, I'm not saying if you got these guys involved yesterday against the Bills that everything would have changed, but you at least got to give Justin Fields more outs. And, Braylon Allen, I understand he didn't run that well against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Breece Hall was clearly the hot hand, but it was also concerning. This guy didn't see a snap until the second quarter. This guy's probably a top 5, 6 offensive player you have. He's just too good to not get the football more. And also, one of these runs came late in the game when it was all said and done, and then the other one came on 3rd and 25 where he was just in the game to pick up yards to help field position. Like, they didn't even run this guy on a true rushing down that entire game, which, for what reason, I have no idea. But get this guy the football. He is too talented to not get the football. And I just think, maybe they got too cute with Breece Hall thinking, oh, this guy ran crazy last week against the Steelers. He'll do the same this upcoming weekend. Breece was awesome. I would probably be thinking the same thing. But you saw early, the Jets just couldn't match the Bills' physicality. Well, you have a physical running back in Braylon Allen. Get him the football more. And Mason Taylor. You spent a high second-round pick on the guy. And I understand he's dealing with a high ankle sprain. It takes a little bit for tight ends to really get accustomed to the NFL. Because you got to learn how to block. You got to learn how to run routes. They're doing 2 jobs. But this guy's too good not to get him the football. Same thing with Braylon Allen. So you got to find a way to get him more involved, whether that's these run-pass options. And just like Josh Allen was doing, when he set up these deep play actions, normally that tight end's open in the flat. And Kincaid and Dawson Knox yesterday, they were doing the most with their yak opportunities. I want to see the same with Mason Taylor. Get him more involved. He needs to be a focal point in this offense. And I don't know if the passing game just, went to hell because Josh Reynolds wasn't there, but that's not good enough reason. You have other guys. You got Taylor. You got Tyler Johnson. Maybe use Breece Hall more as a scat back. Like, were you getting Braylon Allen more touches, but just wasn't good enough offensively. And at the end of the day, you beat yourselves. Now, I think the Bills played good enough. Even if the Jets brought their, A game, they still might have lost this, but the Jets brought their F game. Like, just, I can't get over that Michael Clemens, 3rd and 19, roughing the passer penalty. Like, the man should be cut. Like, there's just no reason to keep him on the roster anymore. I thought that was just a egregious enough mistake where it's like, how do you trust him not to make that same mistake moving forward? And even just the penalties, just over and over again, the Jets just shooting themselves in the foot offensively and even just beating yourselves like Justin Fields. Make a couple of those easy passes. Like, hit Garrett Wilson over the middle of the field. Get yourself in rhythm. Like, that could help a lot more. But just at the end of the day, not good enough against the Bills. You said if you beat yourselves, you're going to lose this game by 20 plus, and that's exactly what happened. So I ask you guys this again. Are you concerned about the Jets? Y for yes, N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Not hitting the panic alarm just yet, but definitely starting to get a little more concerned than I was. Obviously following that Week 1 game, but they have a chance to turn it around. Week 3 in Tampa on the road. Maybe they just need to get out of New York. Maybe they need a road trip to bond this team. Who the hell knows? But still going to be a fun year. It's going to be a long year, but hopefully this team shows some fight and at least go 1-1 with this Florida trip. 2-0 is definitely on the table, but I'm not losing faith just yet. Neither should you. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below, and also hit that subscribe button on your way out. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate all of you guys for watching today's show. As always, go Jets.